Hey friend, welcome to the Badass is the New Black podcast, where our motto is done is better than perfect. I'm Chrissy Chin, here on a mission to help you grow your business online, turn your leads into lifelong customers, and scale to six figures and beyond so you can work less and enjoy and earn a whole lot more. Most importantly, I'm a laid-back wife, a mom, a friend who started as a peds nurse, turned network marketer, and now a serial entrepreneur. This podcast is for ambitious people with an idea, a vision, but no idea how to get there. On this podcast, I'll give actionable steps to keep you moving forward while you learn new business strategies, better systems and processes, marketing, sales, all the things you need to build and scale a blissful business that keeps your pocketbooks growing. Grab a beverage, open up your notes app, and let's get to it. What's up? Let's welcome Becca Mitchell to the podcast. She's the creator of Black Diamond Copy Co. Just an amazing human being, a phenomenal copywriter. Becca writes copy for many female entrepreneurs. She helps them attract their ideal customers, sell out their programs, have six-figure launches. She is just the real deal, and I'm super excited to have you, Becca, on the podcast today. Becca writes copy for us. She actually wrote the copy for our last six-figure launch, which is amazing. She's one of the copywriting coaches in our Digital Duplication Academy. So I'm just super honored to have you here to talk about copywriting. We're going to share one of the secrets that you taught me not that long. I thought I was good at copy, and then you taught me this secret, and I was like, whoa, mind blown. I was like, oh my gosh, how did I not know that? Everyone needs to know that about their website. You guys, we're going to get to that. So you better stick around for this episode. But Becca, welcome to the podcast. Finally, you're here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad that we were able to make this work.
I love it. I love it. So we're just going to dive right into talk about copy. You know my audience very well: network marketers, entrepreneurs, health professionals, kind of in this space. So a lot of competition out there. Let's just talk first about like why. So we're going to specifically talk about website copy, because there's lots of different copy. Y'all, if you don't know, there's email marketing copy, there's copy that you write for your website, there's literally the copy that you write for your Instagram post. Like that's all copy, all of the words, right? But we're going to talk about website copy today, the importance of it, and then some tips and tricks that you might not know. So I'm just going to let you dive in and get started with why is copy important? Why is copy important in general, whether it's a post, an email, a website, when it comes to us building our business and being successful?
Yeah, copy is one of the most important factors, truly, I think, in building a business. I mean, written word advertising has been around for centuries, and it's definitely not going anywhere. But the most important reason is because it attracts the right people into your audience and it builds connection with them. If you are attracting the wrong people, no one is going to buy from you. So that's why it's so important too, to like have your stances in your copy, like what you stand for, what you believe in, what your process is, who you work with, all of those things, are so crucial. Some people get so worried about putting like, well, I don't want to like push off somebody else if I'm only attracting this specific type of person, but that's exactly what you want your copy to do. You want your copy to draw in the right people who feel connected to you, who will buy from you and like really do resonate with your message, so that then you're able to have them turn them into paying customers. It's so important, and like really truly show your value in your copy as well.
Yeah, I would say like a big indicator that if your copy is not good, like someone's like, well, how do I know if if I have good copy on my website? Like I wrote my copy myself. Okay, if you are not getting people to subscribe to your email list, if you aren't getting people to purchase from you, like visitors from your website, I would say, or even like just transitioning from that whole wherever you're marketing into turning into a customer, like it's probably your copy. Mm-hmm. It's like lacking and struggling.
It's definitely like comes down to messaging. Everything that you say and put out, like you need to be consistent with your messaging. And a lot of times people change their offers so frequently because maybe somebody's not buying. Like they think they have this great idea. They put it out there and no one's buying. But and then they just jump to the next offer. They create a new offer and they try to market that. But a lot of times it just comes down to your messaging and getting really, really clear on what it is that your ideal client truly wants. That's something that we think we know what they want, but what we think they want could be different than what they truly do want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so what is your best recommendation or advice to helping someone figure out what their audience wants?
So I like to say it's like a child who's, you know, how when they're always asking you like, but why, but why, but why? It's like getting really clear. It's like, if you think that what your audience wants is more income, it's like, okay, but why do they want more income? Like, how is this going to show up in their life? Why should they care about this? So asking those questions to get really clear, like as you go through your copy, one, it really helps cut the fluff. If you're writing things and you can delete them and it doesn't change the intention of the sentence, just delete it. You know, we don't need all that extra language just to have it there. A lot of times it's just getting really clear and it's asking yourself, but why? Like, why do they care? And then also asking that question that I just said, how is this showing up in their life? That's one of the biggest things where people I see missing on their website copy is that they're not actually asking, like, how is this showing up in their actual life? Like, if they make more income, what will they actually be able to do? Like, give those concrete examples. Like, do they want to retire their partner? Do they want to pay, like, you know, for their parents to go on a vacation? Do they want to be able to like already make or have 6 figures saved for their kids' college tuition? Like, what do they truly want? And how is this going to impact their life? And giving those concrete examples is huge.
Yeah. And market research. I'm always doing market research.
Yeah.
Like if you like, either you have to be paying attention to how people are commenting, what they're DMing you, you know, all of that. And then just market research, sending out surveys or doing polls on your social media to try, or like, ask me anything, or what would you do if, like, if you're in health and wellness, what would you do if you, and pertaining to what you do. So like, let's say you help people lose the weight after they've had children or something. So like, what would you do if you could feel amazing in your post-baby skin, you know, or like, how would you feel or whatever. So asking those questions to get the language, because I know that's something we talk about a lot too when we're coaching our DDA students is, you know, what is the language that your people are using?
Yes.
Like someone might think like, oh, I've seen this a lot when we're reviewing people's websites. They come up with, or even freebie offerings, they're coming up with this really like creative and like catchy thing, but really you're like, it's not very clear. Like it sounds really pretty and maybe poetic, but it's not. Now I'm like not really sure what you do or what your freebie is going to do for me. And like, so we talk about this a lot, how it's just really better to be super clear and just use the language that they're giving you, right? If they wouldn't say that to you, then don't say that on your website.
Yeah, it's just like too, I mean, market research is definitely key and it's how you can get a lot of those answers that we were just talking about. But also if you personally wouldn't say those words, don't include it on your website. You know, it's kind of the same thing. If your ideal client wouldn't say it and you wouldn't say it, don't use it just because it might sound trendy or anything like that. You definitely want to say like true to your authentic self and your ideal client, because then they will relate to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you touched a little bit on like pushing people away, like attracting your ideal customer and like pushing people away. Let's dive into that just a little bit more, because I mean, this was certainly me. Like, I can help everybody. I don't want to exclude anyone. Like, oh my gosh, if I talk just to this person, then that person's going to feel like they can't get anything from me. And that's not the case. And I know a lot of you listening are either selling products through your network marketing company, or you've also added on these other services where you're maybe doing like health coaching of some kind, or you're a life coach or something like that. And so you're scared. I see a lot of you. I see you. You are scared to speak to someone very specific because you're like, but my oils can be for everyone, or, but my, you know, shakes can be for everyone, or, you know, whatever it is, or my life coaching can be for everyone. So let's talk about, and this goes back kind of into branding, talk about the importance of like identifying who you want to talk to and like putting it on your website.
Yeah, I will say like this is definitely something we go through with like the DDA students, like, trying to help them get really, really clear on exactly who they're speaking to. Cause it is like we are so scared to narrow our audience down because we're like, but what about this person? And what about this person? Or I could help that person. But what I like to ask people is think back to one of your favorite clients. Why did you like working with them so much? What was it about them that you like got so excited to show up for them and help them and just like talk with them? Like, what was it about that person? And write those qualities down, write those traits down. It could be that they just trusted you. Like, trust is a huge thing. You love being in the position where you're like, they trust me because I am the expert here. Like, I know I can help them. So like write down trust, and maybe you can incorporate that into your about page, like values. Like trust is a value of your company. And that's something where you're like, that means I don't want to work with people who like try to micromanage what I do. Like, you hired me for a reason, so I need you to trust me. Like, that could be something that you incorporate on your website. So it's getting just really, really clear on why you enjoy working with that one person, or it could even be a handful. And maybe they all have different traits, but you're just like, I love that this person is so like hands off and they trust me. I love that this other person is so like involved, but in a way that I feel like I'm still, in control, or something where it's just like going through these traits. Like, this person is great at communication. This person's really funny, whatever it is, just like write down all those traits and then see how you can kind of weave those into your website copy. It doesn't need to be super polarizing. And I think that's a reason people get so worried about like turning potential clients off, is they're like, well, I don't want to take like some crazy stance. And you absolutely do not have to. It's just like the values that you want, it could be like honesty, integrity, whatever that is, just making sure that the people you're working with also share those core values and that working with them feels really good to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And that when you're like, okay, if it's trust, like bring that in, weave that in, it just made me kind of think of how whenever we work with our students on their ideal client avatar, it's not like who have you attracted? It's like, who do you want to attract? Let's describe that person. And like you said before, how does it show up in their life? Like, what are they struggling with? Or on the flip side, what are their desires? What does that look like in life? And literally like painting that picture on your website so they can see themselves like, oh, yes, I resonate with that. That is my issue. And also, oh, I resonate with that. That is what I want my life to be. I also think, and because you wrote my website copy, and so I definitely notice this balance of like addressing the problems, but also the desires. And so we teach that in DDA, like there's kind of this balance of, you don't just want to address and like point out all of the problems that they're having, like paint that picture of the desire and describe again, the ideal person so you can attract that person. Because if you're not attracting your ideal person, it's the copy. It's not, you're not describing your person, you're describing the person you're attracting, right?
Yes. The other thing I will say too is you can attract you if your copy is really strong and you are also really talking about like those benefits, the transformation, all of those great things that come from working with you. And also, talking about those pain points, showing them that you truly do understand where they are and how you got to the other side and now how you can help people. Even if you're talking specifically to, for me, let's use me, for example, I specifically talk to female entrepreneurs, but I have male clients as well. Like they'll still book a call with me and say, I know you talk about female entrepreneurs on your website, but do you take male clients? And I do. It's just like my target audience is female entrepreneurs, but that doesn't mean you can't attract people too when you're saying the right things and you're drawing them in and just still painting those like tangible transformations, because they still want those too, even though they're not in your specific target audience that you're talking to. When you do have the right language, you can attract other people that still fit exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like when you're establishing your brand and your target audience and who you want to talk to, I always talk about like there's this bullseye. And so you're writing for the person in the middle, but know that your copy, like when you throw a dart at it, unless you're a professional, like you're hitting some of those outer rings, like you will you'll still get those people kind of on the outskirts, like you said, like men. And same for me, like the industry that I'm in, starting in network marketing and in a health and wellness company, predominantly women, right? But I work really well with men as well. And I don't just say like, no, I only work with women. Like we have some male Digital Duplication Academy students, and like, I've coached men before, but like you said, like we're speaking to this target audience, the low hanging fruit, the people that, we know what their problems is and how we can help them, but we'll attract other people. So yeah, if you have a health and wellness product and you're picking like a particular topic, maybe based on your story, like you'll still attract people outside of that for sure. Right. If your copy is where it needs to be. Yeah. Love that.
Yes.
Let's talk about, okay, we're going to get into your about page. So we obviously need a homepage. We need a freebie on our website. We need an about page. Now, Becca taught me this, you guys. I'm even more savvy now in copywriting, but I have definitely learned. So if you feel like I'm not good at writing, I'm not a good copywriter, you guys, I went to school to be a nurse. Okay. And then I just kind of started diving into this marketing and sales, and I've learned a ton. And Becca's seen my I don't know. Are my copy skills okay, Becca?
Oh yeah. Yeah. When we do our coaching calls, you're just right up there too. You're great.
I love it. There was a time when one of our students, like I had helped her with her copy, and then Becca comes on the call and Becca's like, love what you did here. And I was like, just sitting silent. And I remember Pat was like, well, you can thank Chrissy. She wrote that. I was like, score. Like I got approval from the official copywriter. Yeah. But to all that to say, like I have improved tremendously because I've listened to people like Becca, and I've practiced writing my copy, and I've looked for more guidance to improve, and I've hired out copywriters to write it and then seen what they have done. I don't remember what I was going. Oh, so the about page. I'm like, where was I going with that? So the about page, you guys, I had no idea that your about page really is not about you until right before Becca wrote my copy, because Becca and I were talking about this before we went live on here for recording. And she said, I remember I posted on Instagram that statement, like, FYI, your about page is not about you. It's about your customer. And I was like, oh my gosh. I commented, I was like, what? Like,
yes.
Oh my gosh. Like, okay, that makes total sense. And then I was like, can I hire you to write my copy? It needs a facelift. Like, I just need you to kind of redo it. Because I hadn't had, professional copywriting help with my website. You guys, it was totally good enough for like how it was, a year and a half. I got private clients and whatnot, but it was good enough. And I was ready to like level up, like, okay, I'm getting serious, like really need my website to be where it needs to be. And so I hired Becca to write it. And then when she wrote it, I was like, oh yes, that makes sense. Yes, I see now how you've done that. You've taught them about me, but they're able to connect. So let's dive into that a little bit, because that is just, if you guys didn't know that, okay, if you're watching on YouTube, leave us a comment below and tell me that you did or did not know that your about page should be about your customer more than about you. So give us a couple tips on how to do this.
Yes. Okay. So as humans, we all love to talk about ourselves, which also means when we are reading about other people, we don't really want to read about them. We want to read about ourselves, So the best way to do this is to write your story in a way that they can really see themselves in. So you definitely want to include, for like Chrissy, for your about page, we definitely included, that you were an RN and then you found, Young Living products, and it changed like the trajectory of your life. We included that because that's an important piece of Chrissy's story, but we also needed to tie in the reader in that so they can see themselves in that story. They're probably not nurses. Maybe they are, but they're doing something that they're not feeling fulfilled in, and they can relate through that. So it's really describing, where Chrissy was in that instance and like how she feels now and what those changes have allowed her to do in that. And then I love to include this at the end, tying in how you have then helped other people accomplish the same thing that you're saying that you accomplished. Because it's great if you've accomplished it, but people also then want to know like, okay, well, great, you did it, but have you helped other people do it? How can I do this? Because we love a success story. But then we immediately are filled with doubt. Like, okay, well, great, but I probably can't ever do that. That's like the first thing that we always do. We always doubt our ability to do the same thing that somebody else did. So when you tie in those stories of other clients, then you're really showing that it's possible for multiple people. It's not only your wins, it's other people's wins as well. And then they can really start seeing themselves in there. So I always love to include a section where we're really talking about those wins that you've helped other people accomplish. I also love to talk about, again, those kind of values that you have, and again, in a way that you're talking about your ideal client. So it's like, we love working with clients who value transparency and honesty. You can include a section like that if that's something that's really important to you. Again, if you're really trying to get clear on those ideal clients, some people know exactly who they want to be working with. So laying that out is a great thing to do. But it's really just tying in your readers' ability to see themselves in your story.
Love that. And what would you say to someone who's like, I haven't helped anyone yet? Because I know we'll get those questions, you guys. If you had it, I hear you out there. So the people that have said like, I haven't had any clients yet for my, life coaching business or for, whatever it is that they're doing. What do I say?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think what you can talk about then is your experience. It could be not paid help, but it could be what your friends have, accomplished through your conversations. And you don't need to say my client. It could just be like, others have gone on to, change their career path, or they've, if you're like health coach, they've gone on to, start finding more comfort in their body. Their knee pain has felt relief, whatever it is. Like, it could be just your friends that you've helped. And if you really haven't helped anyone other than yourself, you can talk about like the benefits of how your life has changed, like what has changed for you because of whatever it is that you're doing. You can talk about how eye-opening the experience was. You can also talk, this is something that I think is good too. If you ever had reservations about something that you're doing, again, like as humans, we're filled with doubt. So if you had doubt, maybe if you started a new career path and you were like, I was hesitant at first, but I tried it and worked through my mindset and I saw like the true benefits, and like, you could even have a bullet list, like, here's everything that has changed in my life for the better. Like, you can list out those things as well, but
yeah,
it's really about connecting, with your ideal client in a way that shows them what's possible for them.
Yeah, I agree. 100% use your story, because likely you've changed your life and that's why you're doing whatever you're doing, selling whatever, or, like we help people get professional online with websites that convert. Right. And so that was our problem. That was mine and Claire's problem in the beginning was, oh, we have this idea on how we can help people, but we need a website. We need all of that. Well, we learned how to do all that. And now we help people do that. So initially, if I've never helped anyone do that, I've at least helped myself. And so that you talk about your own story and how, again, like you got to the other side. And so now you're helping other people do that. I love the fact that you said it doesn't have to be a paying person that you've helped. Like, it doesn't have to be a paid client. Think about, your, neighbors, friends, people in your network that you have given some advice to. It has helped them in some way. Use that as an example. Like, if I'm helping someone on social media, I used to do like bio makeover. So like helping them change their little bio on their social media. And they say like, oh my gosh, I got 6 new followers and they seem like my perfect customer. Like, they didn't pay me to do that, but I can still talk about that and share about that. So in any way, shape, or form that you're helping people and you can talk about how you're serving and helping them, like, that's enough of a story to talk about on your website. So love that. Love those tips.
And then the other thing that you can include on your about page too is like the results you're going to get. It's kind of like setting them up, asking a question like, what would more energy in your day-to-day life look like? Something like that, asking question and then giving like a little bit of a connection point where you're like, you could wake up and not immediately pour yourself a 20-ounce coffee or like head to the Starbucks line. You could paint that. Again, that's really painting like a tangible transformation in there where you're giving them visual examples that they can imagine. Like, if your ideal customer loves going to Starbucks, you know, you could add that line in there and it could really relate with them. Like, oh, I would love to wake up without having to sit in the Starbucks line and be late for work every day. You know, like that's something where they could be like, if you make these changes, then you'll wake up with more energy and this like problem that you have right now can disappear. So that's also something I like to include on the about page.
Love that. Love that. Ah, so many great tips, you guys. We're going to wrap this up. That was, I mean, we covered, you know, kind of a lot in a short amount of time. But this was really awesome. This was amazing. I think that gives someone just a little bit to kind of go back and look at, if you have a website, look at it and be like, am I doing these things? Am I painting this picture? Am I describing this ideal person in a way that they can relate and that resonates with them? You know, is my about page about my person, or is it just like my entire life story? Like, also, that was another thing that I realized and noticed, that like, really, it's not your entire life story. It's taking the pieces from your story that are relevant to what you help people with.
Yes.
Like just that portion of your story so they can get to know you and your story, but it's really specific to how you also help them. So that might also help you kind of narrow down your about. Becca, it was awesome having you here. We'll have to have you back again for some other, like, again, because Becca writes all kinds of copy. Like I said, she helped us with our 6-figure launch that we had. So we'll definitely have to have you back. If you guys do not have a website and you're looking to show up professional with what you're doing, maybe you're in network marketing or you're an entrepreneur, you're multi-passionate, you're doing multiple things, you're in the health field. So many people, I help so many people in the health field, probably because of my background and just like the space that I was in with network marketing. But you guys, health people, they know how to make you feel good and look good, but like marketing and sales is like, I know it's not your specialty, but I love that stuff. So I do find myself attracting a lot of these, you guys out there in the health space. And I want to get you looking professional, finding your ideal customers online, converting them into paying customers on autopilot. And you really need a website to do that. So we've got a free masterclass for you coming up April 12th. It's called How to Build a Wildly Profitable Website Without Knowing a Thing About Tech. If you have a website, it's not converting very well, or you never got any professional help, come to the masterclass. We're also going to be talking about Digital Duplication Academy, which you've heard us mention here. So lots of great things going on. You can go to thechrissychin.com/website-masterclass. It'll be in the show notes. It'll be in the description on YouTube. Becca, where can we find more from you? Where can people connect with you and your website so they can go check it out and get some tips?
Yes. My website is blackdiamondcopy.co and my Instagram handle is @blackdiamondcopyco. So that's really where you can find me.
Perfect. Go grab. Do you have a freebie over there? I'm sure they can grab.
I actually have a freebie. Well, it's a quiz called Why Your Website Isn't Converting. So that will be live. And you guys can take that quiz. I also have a sales page training. It's a video training and a freebie. So you can go through that as well. And I also have an email best practices guide. So you can grab all of it. We cover all different pieces of copy.
Awesome. Love it. Okay. So now you guys know how to get a hold of Becca. Also, we'll link her in the show notes. You can go check out her freebies as well. Scope out her website, analyze it. You can go check out my website that she wrote, analyze that. And yeah, we'll see you guys around next week. We're going to talk about the design. Becca, I have heard you say people come. What is your little saying that you say? People come, and if they like the design, they stay for the copy.
Yes. Yes. You really do need both components. So definitely listen to this one and the next week episode, but design is what initially attracts people in. If they land on your website and they think it's ugly, they're going to leave. They're not even going to look at the copy, but if they like the design, they're going to stay and read the copy. So that's why your copy is so important. And it really needs to say something, because if it says nothing, you can have the most beautiful design in the world, but if your copy isn't saying anything, they're never going to reach out to you. So that's why they're both incredibly important.
Love it. It's like peanut butter and jelly, guys. They have to go together. Although I used to eat peanut butter and honey. sandwiches when I was a kid. So,
Yeah.
you know,
But it works. It works.
it
Peanut
works.
butter and
We're going to
jelly.
make it work for this one, you guys. You need the copy, you need the design. So we talked about copy today because you need your copy before you start on the design, but you need both of them to attract your ideal customer, to get them to stay, to read the copy, and the copy is going to get them to convert. And married together with the design. So we're going to talk about all that on next week's episode. We'll see you back here. Becca, thank you again for coming and chatting. We'll see you guys later. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you got some value out of this episode, I would love some support. And the best way to do that, so I can keep showering you with loads of actionable tips, is to hit that subscribe button. Leave a review or a comment if you're on YouTube, and share this podcast with a friend. And when you share it with a friend on social, please tag me so I can reshare your share in my stories. It's been an absolute pleasure hanging out. I appreciate the heck out of you for showing up. And now it's time for you to take imperfect action so you can work less and enjoy and earn a whole lot more.